what are the overarching themes, energies, circumstances coming up for Gemini in September 2025? You have status quo. Status quo. So you may be realizing that a change is in order. Go figure, okay? Maybe something has been working for you for a time. Maybe you felt like the path you was on has been quite predictable but stable. But now things are changing, right? Maybe there's something about it that feels less stable. Maybe feels more temporary. Maybe you feel like you've just come to an inevitable end of that road. And it's time to explore something new. Okay? And so, Gemini, it's not necessarily that there was a major twist or turn. It's not that you're on the wrong track. I just feel like it's run its course, right? I don't feel like there's anything more to be gained in this situation, this environment, this path, right? You've literally followed it all the way through to the end. But now it's time for a new experience, okay? In this particular part of your journey, this is the end of the line. And now it's time to embark on a new path here, okay? So we're going to have a look at what that is, okay? Or get some insight as to what could be changing with that, okay? So September is very significant, okay? Because the end is going to be in sight. You're going to be able to see clearly, tangibly, that something is about to fundamentally change in your life, okay? And again, it's not like some great turbulent situation. It's just a matter of par the course, right? That everything has a beginning and an end. And in this situation, it's time for a change. It's time for a new beginning, okay? So we're going to have a look and see what you need to know. So tell me more about this energy for Gemini. All right. Oh, I've got my deck upside down. So you have the Four of Pentacles and the Justice card. Very nice, okay? So I feel like, yeah, there's nothing more to be gained in this situation, right? You've grown a lot. You've experienced a lot. You had a sense of security and stability where you're at. But it's time for a different foundation, okay? So you may be changing your work situation, your home environment. You may be changing something that you do when it comes to something of the tangible, something 3D, okay? But there's definitely a fundamental change taking place here when it comes to what you establish, okay? You may have, as well, accumulated enough resources to make this change as well, okay? So if that was something that was a concern for you in the past, that's no longer going to be at this point, okay? So, but it does feel like, again, you know, a change of comfort zone, a change of pace, a change of environment, a foundation, you know, that's where that status quo has come in. Because yes, you were comfortable, things were relatively stable, but not anymore, right? Because it's time for a change. Like, there is no more to the path that you've been on. You've come to the end of the line. And so it's time to explore a new one. Okay? So it's an inevitable change. This is, again, it's not something out of necessity as such, but just like necessity in that the change was inevitable. There is nothing more there, you know? Rather than it being a situation where, you know, it's going to lead to negative consequences or something like that. No, it's just... It's literally run its course. That's it. Okay. So tell me anything else for Gemini. Yeah, Ten of Cups. Exactly. Right. So you may find that you're establishing a new community. Okay. Or getting settled in with a new community. Making new friends, new acquaintances. Okay. Maybe settling, like you say, moving, right? Settling the family into a new environment, okay? Getting your bearings there. You may come to find that actually whatever this change is for you, especially when it involves the environment and the people you connect with within said environment, is going to do you the world of good, okay? Ten of Cups is a very happy energy. It's like one of the happiest cards in the deck. But this is something that is shared. It's communal, right? So not only will you feel happier as a result of this change, those that are impacted by it as well are also going to be happier for it, okay? So, whilst you may have been comfortable where you were, that's as far as it would have gone. right? But where you're going, infinitely better. So if you try to stay where you were, I think inevitably you wouldn't have been able to in the long run, but you would have been settling, that's for sure, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, terrible or uncomfortable, right? But if it creates stagnancy, then it's time for a change, you know? And so that's what I see here, that it was a situation that was birthing stagnancy. Whereas this, oh no, this is not stagnant by any means, okay? So you may find again that you do spend more time with your loved ones, that you do actually forge new relationships, friendships with people, right? And you start to spend time with them, you engage in things that uplift your spirit, okay? But it's a very happy card. This is like happy ever after type energy, right? Yeah, exactly. So there is a fundamental change of fortune here for you, right? I see the seven of swords to the wheel of fortune, followed by the 10 of pentacles. So you've got, not only have you got the 10 of cups, you also got the 10 of pentacles. This is why you couldn't settle, because everything you wanted lied on the other side of this path that you were on. Literally, 10 of cups, 10 of pentacles, right? Everything you possibly could have wanted out of the situation, you will gain, because you recognized it for what it was and made the necessary change, or you are in the month of September, right? And that changes everything. If you weren't willing to make the change, you would, I'm telling you, you would have screwed yourself out of the 10 of cups and the 10 of pentacles, right? Like I say, settling, complacency, stagnation. But the fact that you're not changes everything, to the point where you are experiencing the 10 of cups and the 10 of pentacles, which is also increase, right? So you may experience financial increase, more opportunity, growth, expansion, okay? You may even be able to build upon the foundation that you're creating, extending it further, okay? Or building more, adding to what you already have or what you will have. So it is incredibly abundant, the energy that you're operating in and moving into, okay? So it just goes to show what can happen when you embrace the winds of change, right? When you're able to see that a situation has run its course and you're willing to make the necessary changes, right? And so because that's what you're planning to do, that's what you will be doing, okay? I'm telling you, you will witness it firsthand, Gemini. Exactly, 6 of Wands. That's you got very positive cards coming up, right? This is success. This is attainment, achievement, victory. This is the arrival, okay? You are arriving, Gemini, okay? Yes, because you heed the lesson, you heard the message, you saw the situation for what it was, you were willing to make the change, even though, like I said, you wasn't particularly uncomfortable, it wasn't a terrible situation, but you still saw, yeah, but this is still going to create stuck energy, this is going to create stagnancy, this is limiting expansion and growth, so it has to change, right? Breaking free of the status quo changes everything, literally, to the point where you are going to be extremely happy that you made this call. Yeah, Queen of Cups, you see? That 10 of Cups, that Queen of Cups here. You're going to be so happy, and those connected to the situation are going to be so happy that you made this call, because you're not just doing it for yourself, you're doing it for everyone who is directly connected to the situation. So like relatives or whoever's involved, right? Partners. But everyone benefits from this, including you, okay? So I just feel like you're going to be extremely happy and extremely grateful, you know? I see this, you just thanking the universe for helping you to make it happen. But ultimately, it was you that made the choice, right? And took the steps. So I'm telling you, this is the best thing you could have done at this time, Gemini. So congrats. And I hope that does help. Wow.